you can be investigated by counsel for your videos. I mean, that's so weird to me. The government can investigate you for videos.
Yeah, so I didn't realize this either, Alison, until it happened to me. I thought we had free speech here, but we don't. So yeah, initially they came up to me because I had all these. So I think at the time I might have had, I can't remember, like 7 complaints or something from public, and these aren't just New Zealand people. These are like overseas people that have watched my video, so have nothing to do with me. And in this video, I never told anyone what to do. I just said this, and I specifically said that. I said, this is just what I'm doing. You have to research and do your own, you know, make your own decision yourself. Vaccines weren't even a thing. In the video, I think I said, you know, I'm worried that there are going to be mandates in order to get for your employment, for education, and all that stuff's happened now in New Zealand. But, you know, they were saying that wasn't, you know, I was speculating. So initially they tried to say it was just on the complaint that I was basically causing, they didn't want me to talk about anything COVID-19 related. And that was what they said to me in a letter. Don't talk about COVID-19. So,
the government literally told you that? Who is this exactly?
So
like what department?
Yeah, so it's the Medical Council of New Zealand, which are the licensing agency for doctors. So in order to practice and prescribe medicines in New Zealand, you have to be licensed to this organization, and they can investigate you if they see some problems. So initially that was what they said, and they were trying to kind of figure out how to get me. And then they moved to that I was practicing medicine by making these videos. And in May of last year, my practicing certificate was due for renewal, and I was heavily pregnant. So I decided I'll let that go. And then the next video I made, they said I was practicing medicine without a license. So, I mean, it's just insane. And now they're saying that I'm bringing the medical profession into disrepute. So it just goes on.
Yeah.
So,
in New Zealand, we don't have a constitution as such, but we have a variety of various documents which are supposed to be put together, make up a bit of a constitution. And one of them is the Bill of Rights, which most of us thought gave us free speech in New Zealand. So as long as what you were doing wasn't a crime, like inciting other people to do something, or, you know, doing something which would be considered criminal, we thought you were pretty much allowed to say whatever you wanted. But the problem in New Zealand is we have all these other legislative acts, and one of them regulates health practitioners. But to be honest, it's not really quite clear in that act what the practice of medicine is. And the Medical Council have tried to claim that it involves doctors speaking in public and making videos or doing blogs, all that sort of thing. But to be honest, a lot of that's never been tested before. This is sort of an unprecedented situation. So to be honest, I think their case against Sam has been pretty weak. They're still running their investigation. But I think, you know, at worst, they'll just try and fine her or something like that. I mean, they can't really do anything else because she's elected not to practice within the system anyway. So if the problems become more for other doctors in New Zealand now. I mean, this can't affect us essentially, because the Medical Council has very little power over us because we don't seek to get practicing certificates from them. But we've had about 6 doctors suspended in New Zealand now for doing similar things to Sam, just simply making a public statement surrounding the safety issues with the alleged COVID vaccines and the fact that informed consent has just about disappeared in medical practice in New Zealand at the moment. So simply for pointing out those things, we've had multiple doctors suspended now. And of course, it just terrifies other doctors who are scared of losing their licenses and potentially losing their income. So New Zealand's similar to so many countries where the public is deceived into believing that the doctors are really all supporting what's going on, when most of them are just being coerced. Well, not all, but a lot feel like they're being coerced into it.
Before we get to the rest of this video, this is just a short clip of a full video that has basically been sanitized so it can fly under the radar on YouTube. If you want to see the entire conversation that we had, or the entirety of the commentary that you're watching, please go to one of my other platforms. One of the best places to go is AlisonMorrow.locals.com, where you can become part of my editorial board and pose questions ahead of time for interviews. I also do live editorial board meetings on Saturdays. You can bring your feedback and pose ideas for guests and topics for the week to come, and you get exclusive content. So go to AlisonMorrow.locals.com, but whatever you do, don't stay here on YouTube. If you want the full truth about what's happening around us, you gotta go somewhere else. So this is ongoing right now, and could they just say, we're gonna fine you a lot of money every time you upload a video? And what would you do if that happened?
They can't really do that. It's still in the so that news article that you referred to was that they were arguing that I was practicing medicine and without a license. And so I actually took them to the High Court in New Zealand and said, I'm not practicing without a license. There's no law behind that. And the idea that the case itself, the investigation is based on this premise that I'm practicing medicine. So I was trying to stop them, saying basically, you don't have any rights to do this investigation because I'm not practicing medicine, and therefore the investigation stops. But yeah, basically, you know what law is like. It's they win on technicalities. So it's still kind of in this process at the moment. I can't really talk about it, but too much. But potentially the worst case scenario would be that it goes to the disciplinary tribunal, which is a higher court, and then they could potentially fine me. I guess they could take me off the register, but I don't really want to go back to medicine any longer. I'm done with that. It's just, you can't,
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I don't even know if we want to be on the register anymore anyway, because it's like me, even though I haven't practiced and had a practicing certificate for 6 years, I'm still actually officially on the medical register. So technically, you know, I'm under the same legislation that other doctors are under with regards to the Health Practitioners Act. But to be honest, like so many doctors have just got totally sick of it, that they'd rather just be off the register completely. And we know of some doctors who have already started just requesting that they get taken off the register.
Yeah.
So they're not shackled to these ridiculous political decrees that are going on, because unfortunately, a lot of the institutions which were supposedly independent in New Zealand are now completely under what you'd say is almost totalitarian control. They're essentially just following orders, and their role of protecting the public has completely disappeared. So we even have a Human Rights Commission here, which is
a joke.
Become a joke, because it's just standing around doing nothing while the government is coercing people. Like New Zealand's one of the most heavily vaccine mandated countries on the planet. So it's been mandated for all health professionals, like every single one, all teachers,
all police, military, hospitality, just the ports, any job now. Yeah, it's very difficult to find work unless you're vaccinated.
So yeah, pretty much they've put so much pressure on the population that people have either quit their jobs or being coerced into getting these jabs.
And you can't even, like, I can't come visit you right now if I wanted to, can I? Aren't the borders totally closed?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably ways to get you in, but maybe we shouldn't talk about that. But,
we can talk about that after we're recording. Whether you are Camp Terrain Theory or Camp Germ Theory, we can all be Camp Wine Theory. And that theory is that if you go to AlisonWinePromo.com, you can support my work with a great glass of high-altitude Malbec from Argentina. These are 50% off the wine itself and 50% off shipping. No flavoring, no filtering, no dyes, and no excess chemicals. Again, that's AllisonWinePromo.com. But maybe you prefer a hot cup of coffee to support free speech. You should go to twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, twinenginecoffee.com/Allison. These are also high altitude, but from Nicaragua, USD certified organic roasts. The CEO of the small family-owned company lives right there in Nicaragua where they grow, harvest, and roast the beans. So a lot of good oversight there for high quality roasts. Also, if you're a tea drinker, definitely check out their Caturra tea. It's tea that is made out of the coffee fruit. So again, AllisonWinePromo.com, twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, and toast to free speech while you're watching.